So I was reading about fish and chips and how it differs around the world. I've had fish and chips in London quite a few times. I've had it in the U.S. as well, but apparently down in Australia they use a different kind of fish. I think it's barramundi for their fish and chips. So I was like, hey, I have a couple days off. Let's go to Australia for fish and chips. So here I am. Good morning, and it is morning. It is 9:54 a.m. But again, this is a foreshadowing. Let's go back to the beginning, how I got here. All right.
So, hello, my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. I woke up this morning wanting to go to Abu Dhabi, but the flights back got full. So, I went to the airport because I couldn't check in online. You need a visa to go to Australia. Did you know that? I learned that at the airport thanks to our awesome agents. Checked in and headed to first LA. And I made a mistake taking the early LA flight. I thought it'd help me with the non rev status. It didn't really. I should have taken a later flight, but it is what it is, right? Once I got to LA, I went to the airline club. My wife has a credit card, so I can get access to it, and hung out there for 5 hours. Now, I did work on some videos. I didn't just sit there, so I did edit some videos, and it's time for me to head over to the Tom Bradley terminal, the international terminal, and see if I can get a seat on the flight to Sydney. The flight had open seats, but due to high winds, they were weight restricted. Yeah, 'cause I had to take more fuel. Now, as a through passenger, I was higher on the priority list than people who are starting off in LA as far as non-revs go, but it didn't look good. They had many more through passengers who checked in the day before. I checked in day of. Again, hours ago, I was sitting at home looking at my computer, and here I am in LA, headed to Sydney, Australia. Now, as a non-rev, you can normally spot other non-revs. How? Because they're all looking at their phones, standing by the gate podium, or sitting by the gate podium, not in line to get on the airplane because we don't have a seat yet. Now, on this particular day, they had three seats open in first, one in business, 14 in premium economy, and a ton in coach. The plane has 303 physical seats. They were restricted down to 267 for all the high winds. Now, where I was on the list, I was right in between business or premium economy. There's some other non-revs higher me on the list. And so I'm waiting and I keep refreshing the list. And that's what all of us do. We all keep refreshing the standby list as the agent works the list. Because again, when it's weight restricted, they have to wait until the load planners give them the final cargo numbers. Because maybe some cargo didn't show up, or maybe there's more cargo than planned. So once you get the final numbers and the captain puts in the final fuel, then they can start releasing more seats. And people think, well, I'm just a 185-pound guy. Is that big of a difference? Yeah, it is because weight is weight, right? And we all have an assumed weight, so it doesn't matter if you're super light or super heavy. We all weigh the exact same. So I'm waiting, 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 and then I hear those awesome, awesome words.
Paging my customer Bird. Send my customer Bird.
I had bad audio here, but basically, I'm saying that the agent said that someone who's sitting in first class might give me their seat because it's a inoperative seat, but a non-rev can sit there. And if they didn't want the seat, I could have it, but it didn't end up happening. Of course, I took my 17J and happily boarded the airplane. Again, premium economy, great seat, great area, and especially for a nice long 16-hour flight. I had one person next to me. I was in the aisle, and I let him know, hey, it's a long flight. Need to use the restroom. Tap me on the shoulder. I'm going to have on an eye mask and headphones. I don't mind. Promise you, man. Just tap me on the shoulder. Let me know if you need to get up or not. He got up once, like 8 hours into the flight. I got up multiple times. I thought for sure he'd get up the same time I got up, but he didn't appear to ever to get up. But great flight, good food. And we even got in a few minutes early into Sydney. And I hit the ground running again. We landed around 7 in the morning. Normal check-in time isn't until 3 in the afternoon. So I wasn't quite sure what I was gonna do with my rolling bag and my backpack. That's why I normally have just a backpack. The rolling bag could cause me issues, but we'll see how it goes. And I do have Priority Pass. It's a way you can get in an airline club. They have an arrivals lounge here in Sydney. Not very big, but coffee, some small drinks, some small foods, whatever. I refreshed myself, changed my clothes, and headed down to the train to head downtown. And I was going to hope to check into my hotel early. And I will say this: the trains in Sydney are very, very clean, easy to get around. It's tap and pay, just like London. So you don't really need. You can get a Metro card. You can put money on. I went online. You just tap and go, and it was affordable. They pre-charged 67 cents, and I thought that's all it was. No, it was like $13 each way from downtown to the airport, which is It's acceptable, I guess. $13 US anyway.
So far, I'm very impressed with Sydney and Australia. Getting from the airport to downtown was stupid easy. I think pretty cheap. We'll see what the final charge is, but really clean. The trains were very clean, quiet, no complaints, and the hotels happen to be super close to this station. So far, I am winning. But we'll see if I get to the hotel, if I can check in excessively early. It's like 8 in the morning. Check-in time is 3 p.m. I am platinum though, so we'll see. If not, I can at least drop off my bags. Glasses off, 8:38 in the morning, already in the hotel room, and because I have platinum with my credit card, not because of my stays, I get a partial bridge view, which, hey, not too bad, not too shabby. But first thing I'm going to do is take a shower. I've been in these clothes now for longer than I want to say how long I've been in these clothes. All right. All right. So, Australia. Made it. Long flight here. Again, I got premium economy. There's first, business, premium economy, and economy, main cabin. Uh, all the employees use their high priority pass, of course, to get down here. And it's complicated, but because I didn't check in early enough, I was down on the list. I got premium economy. It's fine. I got an aisle seat. I need an aisle seat because this medication I'm on for my blood pressure, I use restroom a lot. So yeah, it's kind of nice to have to get up when I want to. Long flight. I did sleep almost right away. We took off. They gave us a meal right away, and I put on my earbuds and went to sleep. And I slept for a good 4 to 5 hours. Woke up, looked at my video a little bit, then I was up the rest of the flight for the most part. Um, it was comfortable. 777-300, nice flight. Landed, and customs a little bit of a craziness. All these flights arrived at the same time, so it was this massive herd, as you probably saw. It was getting to customs. Exited there, went to the lounge, got some coffee and some caffeine. Tried to buy a SIM card, didn't work. I don't like how Google Play and Apple block you from getting the local countries apps. I had to side load it onto my Android. iPhone, not an option. But I was able to make the purchase here. Hopped on the train, stupid easy train. Got downtown, got to the hotel, checked in early, took a shower, and then I checked in for tomorrow's flight to go home because that's who I am. I'm crazy. And I was a little bit concerned because there's a bunch of us employees traveling, right? And we're all using a high priority pass. There's one seat in first, 3 in business, 5 premium economy, and 38 in main. So there's enough seats for everybody. I wanted first, or business anyway, right? And I got lucky. We all clicked the button at the same time, and I am top of the list. So I get the best seat possible. Hopefully it's first. If not, hopefully it's business. I'll be fine with premium economy again, I guess. I don't know. If it gets crazy and I'm in main cabin, I'm probably just gonna Z down to Melbourne on Qantas or Jetstar, and then go from Melbourne to Dallas. That flight's wide open. But I'm going to go explore now, and come along and let's go see Sydney together. All right.
Here's a tip as we get into summer. If you are a parent of a kid and they need a summer job, have them go throw bags or go work at the local airport. You get the same benefits I get. You can travel. You raise your kids, make them go work for an airline, earn a value of a dollar while you go travel the world on their benefits. You can also come down to beautiful Australia. Just an idea.
Can't really ask for better weather than this. Currently, it is 69 degrees, clear skies. It did rain a little bit earlier today, but man, loving the weather. Just getting here. This iconic opera house, which I have flown by so many times on Flight Sim, seeing it in real life and just being here, right? Being here. Pretty freaking awesome. That I can just be at my computer. Again, my plan initially was to fly to Abu Dhabi. That was plan A. And I did so much research on flying to Abu Dhabi. Uh, Etihad has a great service for non-revs. I was able to download their app. I had to pay up the Z fare. And I was going to go from Chicago to Abu Dhabi. And the flight was wide open. So it was not going to be an issue. I was, go on my own airline up to Chicago. And then I was going to fly Abu Dhabi back to Boston to come home because Abu Dhabi to Chicago was full. to JFK was full, and to Dulles was full. But Boston, it showed green on the My Travel website. So I'm like, you know what? If it's green, it's worth a shot. So that was my plan A. But I couldn't see the loads. Like I could see the exact numbers on the flight from Chicago to Abu Dhabi, but I couldn't see the one return because it was too far in advance. But the day I was going to head to Abu Dhabi, I could see the loads for the return flight. Just 2 open seats and like 15 non-revs, and I'm way down on the list. So I'm like, that's not going to work. I started looking from Abu Dhabi to anywhere, to London, Dublin, Rome, even I can get to Doha, but I can't go home out of Doha. There was something going on in the Middle East this weekend that everything was full leaving the Middle East. And that really bummed me out. So I'm like, man, I was looking forward to going to Ferrari World. So I was really down. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Because if I stay around the house, I'm gonna annoy my wife. And I do this thing where I just travel once a year, just me, 24 hours, just a backpack. So I started looking places to go, and I could get to Rome again, but I've been to Rome, and couldn't get to London, but I could get to like Dublin. I've been to Dublin. I can get to Japan, but I couldn't get home from Japan. Anyways, but Australia, Sydney. I could get to Sydney from both Dallas and LA. And so I got this app called Staff Traveler to see the loads, and the loads out of Dallas were okay on Qantas. They were okay-ish on my own airline out of LA. Figure I'll try out my own airline out of LA. You know, it's cheaper that way. To go on Qantas out of Dallas, it was this much money. Put it on the screen. But to go out of LA was like $10 on my own airline, just taxes, right? So that was my plan. That was my new plan. So I quickly gathered my things, and because of I might have to come back home on Qantas. They're very restrictive on their carry-on baggage, like 7 kilograms all you can carry on the airplane. That ain't much. And my backpack was weighing right at 6.9, 6.8 kilograms. I'm like, that's too close. And I was leaving things behind. I was weighing my jeans to make sure my jeans weren't too heavy. So I'm like, crap. So I did have to bring another bag and get home on Qantas, which I didn't end up having to do. Hopefully I shouldn't have to do anyway. So anyway, the return flight should be good on my own airline. If a backup is Qantas, and again, I was thinking if I had to, I was going to hop on Qantas down to Melbourne and Melbourne to Dallas, because that shows to be open as well. But this is my trip for this year. Sydney for 24 hours. Let's go explore.
Now, many people think I'm crazy for flying a 16-hour flight to be here for just 24 hours. But again, I work for an airline and I can come back whenever I want to. I get if this is a vacation, you want to come here longer. But for me, it's just a flight. And again, as a long haul pilot, it's like working a normal trip because I'm actually working the same trip as the crew that flew me down here, right? I'm going back with them the next day. And I got very lucky on this day, how beautiful the weather is. I'm going to say this a lot in this video. It was like a 70-degree day. So right on the edge of cold and hot. Don't judge me. I'm a Texan. Nice breeze, but no rain. It rained the next day, but on this day, I could not have asked for a better weather day. So it was almost lunchtime for me anyway, and I want to try their version of fish and chips down here in Australia. I read they use barramundi. So the place I went to, I looked online, Costi Fish and Chips. They use New Zealand hoki, or Hoki. It was very good. Again, I have had it in London, and now here I am having it in Australia.
Got a little piece of foil in there. That's a nice bonus, but one big honking piece of fish. Show the whole thing. Lemon and fries. Got some peri-peri sauce. Should be good. It's extremely hot, so I might be eating it right away.
Again, one more look at the fish and chips. Again, one big piece of New Zealand hoki fish and fries. The fries were okay. The fish was extremely good. Very good. I had the peri-peri sauce and a Coke Zero. Nice little business center area. Lots of restaurants. I'm sure it's very busy on a normal business day, but this is a weekend, so it's what it is, right?
Yeah, I did this by a harbor tour. Leaves here at 12:30. Right now it is 11:11. So I have about an hour till boarding. So I'm gonna just walk around, get my steps in, and explore, and get my milkshake and my sugar in, because I'm only here for a day. So I'm not gonna waste time sleeping or resting. So here we go.
Now, my guilty pleasure is a milkshake, even though I am lactose intolerant. It's ignorance on my part. There is a nice carnival ship here. It'd be neat to take a cruise down here. I'm sure we just cruise around Australia. I would love to take a one-way transatlantic cruise or trans-Pacific cruise. We have to wait till the kids get out of school because it can't take that long out of school without getting in trouble. So before my harbor tour started, I just kind of walked around the area, and I love just randomly walking around cities and just seeing what I see. And the Sydney, Australia Circular Quay area is very walkable, and it's like a very fun place to just find a restaurant and hang out. I did find the prices to be somewhat high, even after the exchange rate. I mean, the U.S. equivalent was less, but like $19 Australian is like $12.30 ish USD. And then even basic stuff was somewhat expensive, but again, I was happy to be able to afford to do this. And it was again, I love this weather. So it wasn't too much longer before it was time to board my harbor tour. Um, I bought the base version of the tour. They have like one you can get lunch, another one you can have a few drinks, another one they have, like a personal guided harbor tour. I use the audio tour version. You just download their app. They have Wi-Fi on the boat, but here's a pro tip: download the app and get everything done before you get on the boat. I didn't do that, and I had to waste like 5 minutes downloading the app on their Wi-Fi. There's a lot of data before I could actually start using it. But it works fine. It has GPS, so as you sail around the harbor, it knows where you are and it describes what you're looking at. And it was well worth the money. I think it was like maybe $30 US for the tour. I did see the hop off buses down here, but the prices were way higher than I wanted to pay for one day of travel. The harbor tour, well worth it if you only have one day in Sydney.
So forgive the multiple glasses changes. This is what I do, but it is currently 10:43 p.m. in Dallas, 1:43 p.m. here, and I'm fine. Um, it's interesting how quickly my body can adjust to time zone changes. You think I'd be exhausted right now and like in the hotel room sleeping, but I am totally fine. It's very interesting, right? I do kind of wonder how I'm going to flip back to Dallas tomorrow. We'll have to see. But I plan on going to bed tonight, 8, 9 o'clock p.m. tonight. We'll see. And that might change because they do have a happy hour at the hotel, and I might go partake in that. So we'll see. But yeah, it's interesting. And again, I'm a big believer in karma, and I could not have asked for nicer weather today. It is currently 72 degrees, clear skies, nice breeze. Some people are kind of hiding in the sun over there, from the sun over there. I don't mind the sun because 72 degrees for me is nothing, but they're all covering up over there. But great weather today. It could have easily been a horrible rainy day and I've been stuck inside. But because again, it was raining when I got here. But yeah, what a great day. I'm very fortunate to get to do what I do, and I'm very thankful to get to do what I do. And every airline employee that works for my airline can do what I did. Um, Unlimited worldwide travel is a great benefit to have. All right, almost back to where we started from.
So I did stop by the executive lounge at the hotel. This is before they had the evening hors d'oeuvres and beverages. They have snacks throughout the entire day. So they had a cooler full of soft drinks and juices. And so what did I grab? Of course, I grabbed the ginger ale because that's what I do. And they had a ton of snacks on the table as well. It's just a giant space to relax. So they have an evening hors d'oeuvre service and again light meal and alcohol if you want it. And then in the morning they had breakfast, but I left way too early for breakfast. But this was a very nice space at this hotel. All right, it's 5:45 a.m. local, and it is 2:45 in Dallas, and the flight leaves at 9:01 out of here. So now it's time to head to the airport. It'll be interesting going as a non-rev leaving Sydney. So you'll see, it's different. So I checked out of the hotel. The staff was amazing, and made my way back to the Circular Quay metro station. Turns out it's a much shorter walk the way I walked to the station than when I first arrived. I walked a long way around to get to my hotel. But everything's closed right now. This is a very happening area the day before. Very empty today. It's just me.
Google said this train goes to the airport. They just said everybody has to get off at Central. So I guess I get on the next train coming through Central. We will see. So this is my luck. The train I was on was going out of service. I had to step off the train at Central. It's maybe like a 8 minute delay for me, and I was able to reboard another train to get to the airport. That train was much more full, as I'm sure all the locals knew that that's the time that you should get on the train and not the one I got on. But again, the transportation in Sydney is stupid easy. I would never see the need for a rental car here. The trains are very clean, they're very modern. I had no problems whatsoever. So, made my way to the airport, and then I had to go to the check-in area for my airline. Again, there was only one flight a day, and at this airport, they will not let you pass security unless you have a boarding pass. Many airports will let you go through security with a security documentation, not this one. And that can be stressful if you have kids or mobility issues going from the ticket area to the plane right before boarding starts. So, unlike other airports I've non-read from in Sydney, I can't go past security unless I have a seat assignment and I'm non-rev. So I did go up. I didn't know what to do. I read my travel guide and I understand I need a seat assignment. But I wasn't sure what to do at the airport because I'm not checking any bags. I mean, I only have that little shorty there in my backpack, right? So I tried to use the kiosk, and then they had a little error come up. So I talked to a real person. They're very nice. They're contract employees because we have one flight a day here. It was very nice, and she went through the process, verified my passport and everything else, and said just kind of wait by the last podium, and they're on 7:30 is when they'll issue the boarding pass. Understand boarding starts at 8 o'clock. So yeah, I've heard people having a mad dash through security to get to the gate on time. Uh, an hour should be fine. Should be fine. My backup plan is to go on Qantas down to Melbourne and Melbourne to Dallas. I've already listed for the flight and I paid for my Z Pass. It's fully refundable because if I end up in main cabin on my own airline, I'd rather just go on main cabin on Qantas and just go down to Melbourne and straight to Dallas than main cabin on my own airline up to LA and then jump seat over to Dallas. So I've checked the loads. Loads are good to Melbourne and good to Dallas. So currently 6:40, so I got about 50 minutes to wait. Yeah. And just an update, 7:06 a.m. I did move down to number 2 on the list. One employee above me is now at through status. This is part of the non-rev game. If you like Zed in or through any kind of way into this airport from another airport, you go as a higher priority than someone else in the same pass status. So I was at D1 top of the list, now I'm number 2. So lost first class, but I still have a shot at business. We'll see. That's part of the game. So at 7:30, I still had no ticket. And I'm checking and I'm refreshing. It's 7:32, no ticket. Getting nervous, thinking, what are they doing? Yeah. I was getting actually nervous for a seat. So that's kind of crazy. Got my boarding pass at 7:45. Boarding starts here again at 8:10 or 8:15, I believe. Again, it's somewhat close considering I had to go through immigration and go through the security, right? But with my business class tickets, it only took 9 minutes. But I can only imagine if they have a long security line, how you could easily miss your flight. Didn't care for the security process. It seemed very haphazard. It wasn't very organized, but it is what it is. I do like the immigration process, though. That was very, very, very quick. But now I'm going to make my way through duty free and the shopping area to gate 34. Again, I was hoping for first, missed it by 1. I still think there might be a chance for first because not all first class passengers checked in, according to the app anyway. So I'm hoping maybe at the gate they'll exchange my boarding pass from, again, this business is fine. I can lay down and sleep. And big tip for you, most people are extremely dehydrated on airplanes. Bring an empty water bottle, big one, bigger than you think you need, and fill it up at the airport. The
flight attendants will not have enough water for you to keep you properly hydrated on a flight. And avoid alcohol and caffeine. It doesn't help, I promise you. I was very lucky to get a business class seat on the way home. Again, it's all time of check-in, and we all checked in at the exact same time for the minute, but it's down in milliseconds. That's how fast you have to like check in. And I got lucky. It's pure luck that I hit the button right when I did to be at the very top of the list. Again, there's only one person above me who must have Z'd in from another city. They were a D1T. I was just a D1. And here we are now. It's not a window seat, so I kind of look across the aisle to see outside. I was happy to have a real seat and a very comfortable seat on my way to LA. And again, the service was awesome. I got plenty of food, ridiculous amounts of food, high quality food all the way to LA, and I slept a lot. The seat is a true lay flat seat, so I use my own eye mask versus the one they offer. I'm an eye mask snob. This one has like soft padding and cutouts for my eyes. But I ate a lot, relaxed, watched lots of 30 Rock, and made my way to LA.
And my next flight is Gate 155. It's right down there. It's an Airbus 321 Neo. So 157, I think. It's 155. Or I might go back to where I started almost. The first through customs for the first time in LA. I've never actually been through customs here. No need to. I've never based here. So, all right, let's see how this goes. So as a crew member, I can use KCM to go through security normally, except when it involves international travel. And I believe the intent is for international outbound travel, but I am not positive on that. It just says international travel. So I went ahead and used the TSA pre-check that I had at hand to go through security. Not a big deal. I mean, I had to dump all my water out. I had a nice bottle of water. I had to chug it, really. Chug the bottle of water. So now I have to find a restroom. But I have about an hour to my flight. So I am going to go first to the club and then go back over to the gate. And the club is in Terminal 4. My gate is over there in Tom Bradley, gate 155. Thankfully, it's a very, very short walk. All right. So made it to the gate area at 7:10. Full flight, because all flights are full nowadays. I am the primary for the jump seat. At this airline, we can reserve a jump seat. There's 2 jump seaters. I'm the primary, so that doesn't matter. And because I know it's a full flight, I told them, hey, I'll take the jump seat now, but the computers are down. So I get to wait until the computers come up or the system starts automatically assigning seats, whichever comes first. Not a big deal. I mean, I only have one small bag and my little carry-on bag. Normally I have just a backpack, and this is an awesome backpack. Hopefully I mentioned it already. But because of the possibility of going on Qantas, I did take this little bitty shorty bag too because of the weight issues on Qantas. So, but didn't end up really needing it. And I wish I would have just stuck to my normal routine and just brought just a backpack, but it's all right. I'll survive. Almost home. That's been fun. This is fun. This is fun. All right. So I'm glad I took the flight I did out of LA. It was a totally booked full flight. I was prepared to put on normal glasses and sit in the Airbus jump seat with another pilot. I got a seat in the back with an open seat next to me. Can't beat that, right? I slept quite a bit on the way home. And some people say, Darren, you're kind of crazy for taking this trip, right? You flew, you're in the air longer than you were on the ground in Sydney, which is a very valid statement. I work for an airline. I had time off, and this is what I do. I travel to a city to backpack for 24 hours. It's fun. It's my thing. I could have stayed longer. And if I had stayed longer, the next day's flight out of Sydney on my airline canceled. And the day after that, also canceled. So all the flights out of Sydney to mainland would have filled up. And probably out of Melbourne as well, because airlines will rebook you on other airlines if they have agreements between the two. So hindsight 2020, 24 hours was the right amount of time in Sydney. Now, as far as my backpack, I never mentioned it. This is not a sponsored video. I don't do sponsored videos. This is an Air backpack. I bought it in blue. I don't buy black things because things that are black disappear on airplanes and hotel rooms. It has an air compressor, optional, but you can like get rid of all the air in your clothing and in the vacuum sealed section. Makes it really small. it can easily hold a 3-day trip with their stuff. There's so many pouches in here and zippers to segment stuff. Outside is water resistant. It's like a plasticky leather kind of feeling. I can easily fit 3 days in here if I need to. Also has a TSA approved lock if you have to check it for some reason. But the problem is it would weigh too much for many foreign airlines for carry-on luggage. So a domestic airline in the United States, going international, not a big issue. Many international airlines impose weight on bags. Why? That's their policy. So, but again, I had a good trip, and I had time for 24 hours. This was my thing. Again, I was exhausted when I got home. Now, what did all this stuff cost me? Great question. My round trip travel out of LA was about $100 round trip. My night in the hotel room was about $140, and then it was about 30 hours or so for that harbor tour, and I spent maybe another $30 in snacks around the city. So maybe I spent $250 for a day in Sydney. Not too bad. Oh, plus my airfare, so maybe $350 for a day in Sydney, Australia. Wasteful? I think it was worth it. Something to do. My name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I am a husband of a scientist. I post videos about once a week, normally on Thursdays, normally about my job. This week it's about a trip I took for a non-rev. Question? Drop it in the comments. Click subscribe if you don't mind. Have a great day. And as always, thank you for stopping by.